Well, we have discussed business environment till now. We have just elaborated on what are the components of business environment, and we have discussed the macro level business environment. We have also discussed the micro level business environment, and by the time we have realized that business environment is always dynamic, and it is very important on the part of any business undertaking to understand, to realize the business environment and its components in order to formulate its policies for its survival and growth. Now, let us discuss what are the characteristics or what are the features of business environment, and in that context we can say, we have already discussed, it is a totality. Totality means different factors, whether it is macro or micro, they have its impact on the running of a business. So, the totality of external forces, and those external forces, because a business is always getting itself influenced by the external forces. So, these external forces are general level forces and specific level forces that we have already discussed, the macro level forces and the micro level forces. So, in the general level forces that we have discussed, the which is indirectly affect the general level forces we have discussed, which indirectly affect the functioning of the business, we have also discussed that the macro level forces. Then at the specific level forces, the specific forces are those forces which directly affect, that's why they are called specific environmental factors, or that's why they are called the task environmental factors, and they are also called those environmental factors, specific task environmental factors, specific environmental factors, and those that they are called specific because they have a specific impact on a particular enterprise or a particular business, and that's why they are also otherwise known as the immediate business environment. So, those business environments, one of the characteristic of business environment or features of business environment is that they are having a totality of impact, and the totality of impact, it may be immediate impact, it may be direct impact, or it may be indirect impact, but the impact is always there. So, that is one aspect. Another aspect we can say the interrelatedness. Another characteristic of or feature of business environment is interrelatedness. That means all the factors we have discussed at the macro level, we have discussed the political factor, the economic factor, the legal factor, the cultural factor, all these factors that we have discussed, and even the specific level also we have discussed the employee factor, the competition factor, we have discussed also the other factors that we have discussed. They have interrelatedness, the political factor and the economic factor, interrelatedness. We cannot just segregate them, because in some way or other they have an impact. So, there is all the factors of environment, whether it is general or specific, they have an interrelatedness. For example, you can say the employees, the creditors, who are at the specific level factors, but at the same time we can say the legal and the political and the economic. Suppose the political factor or the legal factor, they formulate a particular employee related legislation, and that legislation may be at the general level, but at the specific level, when you are recruiting your employees, when you are firing your employees or hiring your employees, or when you are giving remuneration or wages or salaries to the employees, naturally you are to follow all these rules which are at the general level. So, whether at the specific level, employee at your business organization level, and the general level employee legislation enacted by the parliament or the state legislature at the general level, there are interrelatedness. The political level and economic level, we cannot just segregate the political and economic level, they are always interrelated. the technological level, at the central level, at the general level, and at the specific level. If the general level technological upgradation technological factors are going up, at the specific level you cannot ignore the technological general level technological upgradation in the country or in the state or the international level. We have to follow them at your business level. So that's why they are called interrelatedness. Different forces of business environment are interrelated to each other. One component of the business environment affects the functioning of other components. We cannot we cannot remain compartmentalized. One factor cannot remain compartmentalized from other factors, because we cannot say we are a business and we will not be affected by these factors, we will remain as a watertight compartment. That cannot be. We cannot be a watertight compartment. A business nowadays cannot be a watertight compartment. You cannot claim that you will live in the water, but water will not touch you. That cannot be. So naturally we are going to be affected by the different factors of the environment, and even those factors are also interrelated. Another is called dynamic nature. The business is dynamic. Dynamic means it is not a static. It is not static. There is always dynamism, means it is always changing. It is always changing. It is always moving. So dynamism is always there. Business environment is always dynamic, and because of the dynamism of the environment, the businessman faces the challenge. Had there been static environment, there would have been no challenge. Because of the changes that is taking place, constantly taking place. Because there is one line, it is said, what is the permanent thing in this world? And the answer is, change is the permanent thing in this world. And otherwise it is also called, what is constant in the world? Change is the only constant factor in the world. Just like we can say, what is truth in life? Death is the truth in life. How long we will be alive, we cannot forecast. But death will come to us one day. That is, we can say without any doubt. Death will come. So that is the ultimate truth. Life is uncertain, but death is certain. Similarly, what is constant? Change is constant. That's why it is dynamic. Business concern or business environment is always dynamic. All the factors that we are talking about, that we have discussed so far, whether it is general level environment or technological environment, they are constantly changing, and because of the change only, it becomes a challenge. A businessman faces a challenge because of changes in the business environment. Today's customer choice will not be the same as tomorrow. Today's customer choice will change. Tomorrow the same customer will seek another product. Today's technology will be outdated tomorrow. Tomorrow's different rules and regulation will be outdated tomorrow. For example, we have already experienced that there was MRTP Act that was replaced by Competition Act. There was MRTP Commission that was replaced by Competition Commission. And there were also different laws relating to recruitment, relating to hiring and firing, bonus, and different other things. So they are constantly changing. Pre-liberalization era and post-liberalization era, there are changes in the rules, regulations, etc. So those are constantly changing, and because of the changes, they are called the dynamic. And what is the dynamic? The business environment is dynamic in nature and keeps on changing in terms of technological improvement. We have discussed that technology is constantly changing. In what other aspect it is dynamic? Shifts in consumer preferences. The consumer preferences are also changing. The consumer tastes and preferences are also changing. You, even at your personal level, you think your choice of dress when you are in your school, now you are in the college, after college also, suppose you are in some of the occupation, you find your dress sense is changing, your food sense is also changing, your reading sense is also changing, your requirements also changing. So that's why it is a customer changes that is taking place, and that's why it is dynamic. And the entry of new competitors in the market, you cannot prevent someone from coming into the market, because we are living in a free economy era, and in the free economy era we cannot prevent someone coming into the competition era. We cannot prevent. So when new entrants are there in the competition, in the era of competition, naturally they will come with new ideas, they will come with new product, they will come with new strategies, and they will come with new values, new pricing approach, and all these things will also bring a set of changes. And because of all these things, we say one of the characteristic of business environment is it is dynamic by nature. Another is called uncertainty. The business environment is always uncertain because of the dynamism. Uncertainty is there. We cannot suppose what will happen 1 hour after, we can tell with some degree of certainty. But what will happen 5 years from now, we cannot predict. We cannot predict with that level of certainty. We can predict something, but that may be proved wrong. So uncertainty is always there, and it is one of the most important characteristic of business environment. Uncertainty is always there, and because of the uncertainty, it is again a challenge. Because of the dynamism and because of the uncertainties, it is a challenge. When businessmen are facing the problem, it is because of the uncertainty of the environment, and it is because of the dynamism of the environment. Nobody has predicted that such a disease, corona, will come. Nobody has predicted. Nobody was even having an idea of it. But now that it has come, not only come, it has devastated the economy. It has devastated the business scenario, not in our country but in the entire world. Nobody has predicted that. And you see what has happened or what is happening to different sectors of the economy, to the employment level, to the customer's demand level, to the customer's choice and preferences, to the happening of the business all around the world. And these were the uncertainties, these were the challenges nobody has predicted. So that was the degree of business environment, that was the uncertainty level. The changes in the business environment cannot be predicted accurately because of the uncertainty. We can predict that this may happen, but we cannot predict it with preciseness. We cannot predict it with high degree of certainty. So that's why it is called the uncertainty characteristic of business environment. And another important aspect is the complexities. The business environment is not only uncertain, not only dynamic, it is also complex. Why complex? We have already discussed interrelatedness. One aspect of the business environment is always linked to another aspect, and how the other aspect will behave because of this aspect, that cannot be 100% predicted. So there is a link between the different aspects of the business environment, and it is complex. For example, a tax is increased. When a tax is increased by the government, naturally the purchasing power level of the people has come down. If the tax is, or because of several taxes, the money goes from the pocket of the customers. When the purchasing power has reduced, the demand level has also reduced. So from the tax, it may be a political or a legal decision, but that has an economic decision, that has a personal decision, that has a production related decision. All there is a chain reaction. There is one factor, there is one thing that is called the domino effect. And what is it? What do you mean by domino effect? Domino effect is that effect, or domino game. You must have played the domino game. Different cards are there. One card is standing at the beginning, and you just tap the card, and it falls at the same time. Other card are also falling upon it one after another. That is called a chain reaction. That is called domino effect. Because a change taking place somewhere in the environment will have its chain reaction all. Subsequently, all the areas of the environment is going to be affected because of a chain reaction. Something happens in some part, or something happens in one aspect of the environment, is bound to affect all other aspects in some degree or other. So that's why it is a complex factor, and the complexities of the business environment needs to be understood properly. If you are to formulate a strategy which to fight against maybe against the competition, maybe the business uncertainty. So a business has to understand, has to scan the business component, environmental components, in order to get some input to formulate its business strategy. And another aspect is called the relativity. the business environment differs from place to place, region to region, and country to country. That is called relativity. Relativity means in India, the business environment is different. You are in China, the business environment is different. You are in United States, the business environment is different. Suppose, even in our country also, you are in Odisha, the business environment, and you are in Tamil Nadu, the business environment. Naturally, more or less at the micro level, at the grassroots level, there are definitely some changes in the quality of the business environment. That's why it is relativity. Relativity means the business environment is not the same at all places, at all times, because they are bound to change and they are different at different places. That's why it is called, sometimes it is country specific, sometimes it is region specific, sometimes it is time specific. So different times, different regions, different countries will have different we can say degree of business environment. Of course, in an era of globalization, we may say that more or less it is more or less the business environment, so you are finding some sort of uniformity, but really that degree of uniformity has not yet reached. Different countries will have different legal system, different countries have different people are having different cultural variations. So all these things will have, that's why it is called a relativity. A relative, it is relative. You are in one country, naturally the business environment is different. When you are in other country, that is called a business environment is different. So that's why it is called relativity. Another important dimension, another important characteristic of or features of business environment. So this is, till now we have discussed what is business environment, and we have also discussed what are the features of business environment, and we also discussed the factors or components or ingredients of business environment at the macro level, at the micro level, at the broad level, at the task level, at the direct level, at the indirect level. Now, in the course of our discussion, we have also discussed how and why the study of business environment is important. Now, let us discuss the importance of business environment. Though it is very clear up to this point of discussion, the business environment study is quite important. Let us just summarize it in this way. It helps in identifying opportunities for the business so that the business can successfully avail the opportunity. There is one thing, remember one thing, that is called, every business must have a SWOT analysis. SWOT, S-W-O-T. S stands for strength, W stands for weakness, O stands for opportunity, T stands for threat. So a business, while operating in the uncertain, in the dynamic environments, it will have opportunities and it will have threat. Opportunities are there, threats are also there, and the threats, they threat the existence of the business, the threat the growth of the business, whereas opportunities, they provide some positivity to the environment for growth. And what is strength and weakness? Strength is in which way a particular business, in which way the particular business has some strength, has some strong points, and weakness, where are the weak points? So everybody, just like we as an individual, we have our own strength, we have our own weakness. We can find on the basis of our strength, we can find out the opportunities, and we also find out what are the challenges to us. So that's why it is called threats, can otherwise be called as the challenges. So here we study, when a business concern, when a business organization studies the environment, it studies for finding out the strength, weakness, opportunities and threat. In that case, we find SW, that is strength and weakness, are internal. OT, that is opportunities and threat or challenges, they are external. I know my strength, I know my weakness, that's why it is internal. But what are the opportunities? Because opportunities, they change with the changing environment. Opportunities are coming up, opportunities are going out. And threats or challenges, challenges are changing because of the changes in the environment. So, studying business environment or the importance of the business environment scanning or study is to know, to identify the opportunities for the business and to find out how to exploit the opportunity. If you know the opportunity, you know your strength, you know your weakness, you can exploit the opportunities. So, this is called one of the importance that we have. Another, it helps the firm identify threats and early warning signal that we have already discussed, that the threats are there, challenges are there, and the challenges sometimes if you are constantly watching, if you are constantly scanning the environment, you can know the EWS, early warning signal. That is called, they give you some signals, they give you some signals, they give you some indicator that okay, you are going to face the challenges. If you are constantly watching, scanning the environment, you can find out that there are, it is giving some signals, it is giving some symptoms, it is giving some signs that you are now going for some difficult times. If you are getting that early warning, that is called a warning, you are getting early, before you reach, you are getting the warning, and because of that you can modify your strategy, you can take precautionary measures. So, that is why studying business environment is important. Another is called, it helps in tapping the useful resources. Useful resources, resources are always scanty, resources are always, we cannot just have a plenty of resources, there is always a scanty of resources, the resources are limited. But how to optimize the use of the resources? If you know that there is going to be hectic business activity, naturally you will have to find out how, where from we get the resource, how you can expand your resource procurement, and how you will use the resources optimally. So, it can tap, or in a particular area if you find that this particular area is going to be more in a demand, so you can diversify into that area and tap the resources which are useful for that area of business. So, it helps, the business environment study helps in tapping the resources. That is another important aspect. Tapping the resources means you are trying to find out the resources, you are exploiting the resources for your own advantage, and that can be known if you properly study the business environment. You can know these are the opportunities and these are the resources which are required. So, you can tap the resources because you know that this in particular this tapping of these resources will give you more benefit and profit. Another, we can say it helps the business to adjust and adapt to the environmental changes. That is another important dimension of studying the business environment. You see, one thing that we have discussed also in some other class, that it is said if you do not adjust to the changes, then you will not be in your business, because environment is constantly changing, environment is dynamic. So, if you are able to adjust to the changes, so good thing is that one has to adjust to the changes. As we all know, Charles Darwin has stated that survival of the fittest. Who is fit? If he is fit, who can cope with the changes, he is fit, who can adapt to the changes, that is called adaptation. That is called adapting to the situation. Situations are changing. If you are able to adapt it, then you will survive. If you are unable to adapt it, then you will perish. So, that is why it is called survive or perish. You can survive if you adapt to the situation. If you adjust to the situation, you will perish or go out of the market if you are not able to adjust or adapt to the situation. So, that is why it is called, say, survival of the fittest by Charles Darwin. And that is true for the business, that is true for the human being, that is true for the animal kingdom, because a living being is unable to survive if he is unable to cope with the natural changes. Things are changing. You see, climatic changes are taking place. Climatic changes taking place, other we can say ecological changes are taking place. Those living beings who cannot adjust to the ecological changes, climatic changes, weather changes, they cannot survive. They will perish. You must have seen some small birds and some other animals or birds which we are seeing 15 years back. Now we are not seeing at that numbers. It is because they are unable to cope with the changing times. Their habitat is changing, and they are because of the climatic changes, they are unable to cope with the changes, and they are gradually becoming extinct. Similarly, that is also true for the business. If the business is unable to adjust to the changes in the environment, because nowadays you will find that the present environmental uncertainty is very high. We are living in an era of turbulence and volatility of environment. A turbulent environment, a volatile environment poses a great challenge to the businesses today. Those businesses or those business leaders, those business managers are competent enough to foresee the changes that is taking place and predict the changes that is going to happen, and formulate strategies to cope with the changes that is taking place. They will prosper, they will survive, and they will grow. And for that, what is important is an in-depth analysis, in-depth scanning of the business environment. So in that way, studying business environment is very important. Another is, we can say, it provides the required input for effective planning and policy formulation. You can plan your policy, or you can go for proper policy formulation only when you study the environment. If suppose you find there is suppose after 3, 4, 5 months we find that the Indian economic condition or global economic conditions which are now hard hit by this corona or COVID happening, suppose we say after 5 or 6 months it is going to recover. If you predict that the businesses or economy is gradually looking up or catching up, if you find that, so in that case what will happen? You will make your policies, you will make your programs, you will make your plannings. By the time we recover, we should be ready to face the challenges. We should be ready to grab the opportunities that will come. Now that you are living in a dormant atmosphere, a dormant position, a dormant economy, but if you predict that it is going to be a rosy economy, economy is going to look up, so naturally we have to make a plan. And how can you know it? You can know when you study the business. We can study the business, we can know the business. So that's why know the business environment. So in that case we can say it provides the required input for effective planning and policy formulation. You plan, because when you are talking about plan, the plan may be short-term plan may be long-term plan. When you are going for making a planning, short-term planning and a long-term planning, in that case what are the inputs? Because you cannot plan without any necessary inputs. You cannot plan without any feedback. We need a feedback, we need some materials, we need some information. On the basis we can make your plan. It may be a short-term plan, it may be a long-term plan, or maybe a medium-term plan, whatever may be a plan. But all these plannings cannot be done in a vacuum. All these plannings cannot be done without any information, and those inputs, those informations are given by the business environment. From the business environment we can find that the customers' choices are changing. We can see the creditors' funding level has increased. We can say the political system is becoming more cooperative for the providing opportunities for setting up new industries, etc. Suppose for example we can say that we are having now, the government is coming out with the different policies for we can say make in India. We can say that sometimes different opportunities, different things are provided by the government for giving a boost for the increase of the business, taking the initiative for the business. So in that case we find these are the policies which we take into consideration, or the input which are taking into consideration while you formulate our business environment, while you are formulating our future planning and programs. So this is called the planning policy formulation. It helps in improving performance. It helps in improving our performance. The business performance can be improved only when we study that at this count, at this level, because of the environmental changes, at this level our performance level has decreased because of this. Suppose for example we can say that our sales has decreased because we find why sales has decreased. We are making an analysis that the competitors are coming out with a higher version or a better version. We have not come with that version or an improved version. That's why our sales has decreased. So that gives us an opportunity to analyze our position, and next time when you plan for your better performance. So this is called, we are going for improving performance. Another, it ensures survival and growth of the business, that we have already discussed. It ensures survival and growth of the business. So many things we have discussed, that the business has increased, or this thing has increased. The business environment study will increase the survival and growth of the business. How? If you study the business environment properly, if you analyze the business environment properly, and if you are responding to the changes that has taken place because of the changes in the business environment, you will be in a position to adjust, adapt, cope with the changes in the environment, and that will help you in your ensuring your survival as well as achieving growth in the in your area. Achieving growth, your business will grow if you are able to cope with the changes and get the necessary input for formulating your policy, etc., and moving towards the path of improvement and growth. So these are the importance of business environment. So till now we have discussed that business environment, no business, to sum up we can say, no business can operate in isolation. No business can operate in a vacuum. A business is always influenced by, impacted by different factors, and all these factors are called, the totality of all these factors, they may be places, they may be people, they may be organizations, and they may be other forces. They are the factor, the sum total of all these factors constitutes the business environment. And the business environment always, they are dynamic, they are uncertain, and they are interrelated, and they are relative. There is a relativity, and all these forces have to be taken into consideration for the survival growth of the business. And all these business environmental factors can be at the macro level or at the micro level. Okay, so all these factors of business environment can be at the macro level and at the macro level. And the macro level factors, they are called the direct level factors, indirect level, sorry, the macro level are called the indirect level factors. They will have a broad impact on the business indirectly. And the micro level factors are those factors which have a direct impact or immediate impact on the running of the business. So this is all about the business environment, the components of business environment, the importance of business environment, and the nature or the features of business environment. And business environment is that important aspect. Even today it has become more important for a business to study, to scan, to analyze the business environment. Different tools have also been developed to study and scan the business environments in order to find out what are the indicators of business environment, so that a company can count these indicators for a better growth and prosperity. Thank you. After reading the business environment, till now we know that business environment is dynamic, business environment is changing, it is always changing, and let us see how the business environment has changed in our country after the introduction of the new economic policy in the year 1991. And in that context, we say that there had been a transition from a protected economy to a free economy, somewhat free economy. Gradually, from a protected economy, we were moving towards a free economy at that time. And that's why that particular era is called the LPG. Now we are living in an LPG era. As you all are quite acquainted with the term LPG, in gas, in every household we find liquefied petroleum gas. But now in this term we can say L for liberalization, P for privatization, G for globalization. So these liberalization, privatization and globalization, they have now become the buzzword for the present business environment. Present policy of the government, successive governments, different governments after 1991, they were trying to push the reform era, economic reform. So out of this, let us discuss, because of this, how there is a transition, from the protected economy to the free economy, and these the liberalization, privatization and globalization, how they have resulted in expanding our economy. Indian economy after independence, when we achieved independence, we were not a very strong economy, and public sector was the mainstay of our economy at that point of time, given a boost for public sector. And after so many years, we find that we were having a protected economy. Protected economy means foreign products, foreign goods, foreign investments were not allowed to our country, and Indian industries, indigenous industries, they were given some sort of protection by the government against the onslaught of the foreign, we can say companies, business people, etc., because we were not allowing them. The custom tax, custom duties were quite high. Because of the custom duties, people were unable to purchase the officially the goods from outside, because the cost of that goods becomes high, or price of that goods become high. So at the purpose of that, to create a wall, create a barrier, so that is called a barrier. We have imposed barriers on our economy, just like we are having barriers, in a field. Similarly, our economy has been barricaded by these duties, taxes and different barriers. Why? Because to protect our industries. And there was an argument at that time, because our economy after independence, our corporate houses or our business houses, they were not strong enough to face the competition with the multinationals. So they need protection, and that was termed at that time as infant industries argument. They were infant because our industry, Indian industries, after independence, they were in their infancy. They were small, they were like kids, just like a kid requires protection. Similarly, our industries, they needed protection. Okay, that was right. After independence, naturally our economy was not quite strong, and our industries, unless and they were given the due protection, they would not have survived. They would have faced a unnatural death had we opened up our economy to the multinationals, because the multinational giants, they will come with their money power, with their technology power. Naturally they would just take away, they would have taken away all the market, and our industries would have faced dismal performance, or they would have died. At that time it was okay. But with the passage of time, after so many years of independence, and in the year 1991, when Indian economy faced a lot of problem, At that time, the government thought of opening up the economy, and at the international level, global level also, there was some sort of demise or some sort of breaking up of one of the superpowers, that is called the Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, that is called USSR, or present we can say Russia. Russia along with the other states at that time, they were combined as USSR. There were two superpowers, one is USA, another is USSR. But at that time when USSR got disintegrated, USA became a superpower. There was a bipolar world, it became a unipolar world. And in the unipolar world, the market economy that was there in the USA economy was a free economy, and that was called a market economy, whereas the USSR economy was a socialist economy. So when socialist economy was disintegrated, now market economy prevailed all over the world. Gradually the winds of change took place towards in favor of the market economy, and gradually more and more countries, even the Russia also, they gradually opened up their they gradually went for this market economy. And we in India also, being pressurized by our internal and our economic difficulties, the government of India also tried to open up the economy and went for a new economic policy. And when the new economic policy was enacted, and we are now in a process of opening up our economy, and the tools used for opening up our economy, and we have gone for these things: liberalization, privatization, and globalization. And in that context, the barriers were the government tried to remove the barriers. The barriers were called tariff barriers and non-tariff barriers. Tariff means the tax related barriers. Non-tariff barriers means the non-tax in case of quota and other conditions related barriers. So we gradually removed all the barriers, and we now invite foreigners, foreign capital, foreign technology, all the import restrictions we are doing away with. So all these things gradually we are trying to open up our economy. So all these process we will discuss as liberalization, privatization, and globalization. And what is liberalization then? Economic liberalization refers to a country opening up to the rest of the world with regards to trade, regulations, taxation, and other areas that generally affect business in the country. So we are opening up our economy. Our economy is we open up the economy to the rest of the world, and with related to regulations, in relation to taxation, in relation to other areas which generally affect the business. So economic liberalization means being less strict. That is another important aspect. To less strict in the political and the legal system of the economy with a view to promoting the growth of commerce and trade and industry. Becoming less strict. Earlier we are having a very strict set of legal rules. Earlier we are having extremely or very strict laws, etc. But gradually when it came up, we opened up our economy, and those strict rules and regulations were gradually slackened, and we removed those strict rules with somewhat other rules which facilitate the growth of trade and industry. Earlier the government was the government was the controller. But now after the opening up the economy, and as the reform process, economic liberalization process went ahead, the government took the role of a facilitator rather than a regulator. As a facilitator, they will watch from a distance and create a climate conducive for growth of the business, which should be void of, or rather devoid of unnecessary restrictions. When unnecessary restrictions, unnecessary laws, cumbersome laws, bureaucratic interference, when all these things were gradually removed, we can say that we are moving in the road of liberalization. In the other words, we can say the government is becoming less strict. So that is also another way of describing liberalization. And liberalization is a process whereby a state lifts restriction on some private individual activities. Liberalization occurs when something which used to be banned is no longer banned, or when government regulations are relaxed. So this is the same thing, that relaxation, being less strict, are some of the important orientations of liberalization. And economic liberalization encompasses the process including government policies that promote. From this definition we can say what are the rationale, what are the components of liberalization. Free trade, there is no restriction. Unrestricted trade, there is a free trade, no restriction imposed. Deregulation, earlier it was regulated, much regulation, so many regulations. Now we are talking about deregulations. Then elimination of subsidies. Subsidies were given to some sector, some government sector, some others, but the subsidies are now removed in a liberalization. No subsidy, you should try and you should prove your metal. That is called, and price control and rationing system, no rationing system, no price control. The price is now left for the market forces to decide. Market forces, what are the market forces? The forces of demand and supply. So the price will be fixed, price will be determined as per the demand and supply, not the government fixing the price. The government, every day nowadays you find, every day petrol price, diesel price are changing. Earlier the gas price, petrol price, etc., they were fixed. But now we find they are gradually changing depending upon the market dynamism. So no price control, no rationing system, because liberalization includes all these things. And the downsizing or privatization of public services, that is called downsizing the public sectors and privatization of the public sectors. Downsizing and privatization of the public sector. And all these things are the sum total, or rather the components, or we can say they are the important aspects of liberalization as a concept. So liberalization as a concept is a more important thing in the present era of LPG, and the government of India, not only government of India, rather all governments around the world, they have gone on this way. And specifically in our case, in our country, we are becoming less and less strict and opening up our economy and removing all unnecessary laws, unnecessary restrictions, unnecessary bureaucratic interference, and creating a climate which is conducive for doing the business, starting up the business. And all these things are one of the most important directions towards the concept of or practice of liberalization.